This is an ABC News special report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis in New York. We are coming on the air because the jury has reached an outcome in the high-profile trial of former police officer Kim Potter in Minnesota. Jury deliberations began Monday afternoon. You see her standing right there. On Tuesday, the jury did send a question to the judge asking what happens if they cannot agree on the verdicts. She told them to keep working. We are going to listen in to the judge right now, Regina Chu.
7490. We, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the first degree while committing a misdemeanor on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, state of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And the verdict was agreed to at the hour of 11:40 a.m. and signed by the jury person on 12/23/21. The verdict on count 2 is we, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the second degree, culpable negligence on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, state of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And that verdict was agreed to at 10:30 a.m. on 12/21/21. Members of the jury, is this your true and correct verdict? So say you one, and so say you all.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you may be seated. All right, I am now going to poll the jury. Juror number 2, is this your true and correct verdict?
It is.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror number 7, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict? Oh, it's juror 11. And juror 17, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 19, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 21, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 22, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 26, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 40, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 48, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
And juror number 55, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Members of the jury, when you first came into the courtroom, I told you that jurors are the heroes of our judicial system. Well, the 12 of you are our heroes in this case. You might remember that there was a question on the questionnaire that asked whether you wanted to be on this jury. You were to check yes, no, or maybe. A number of you checked no or not sure, and a few of you checked all 3. But when I asked each of you if you would be willing to serve if the party selected you as a juror, you all said yes. You said yes even though we are in a pandemic with Omicron spreading in our community. You said yes even though you had concerns about serving given the nature of the case. You said yes even though you knew you would be sequestered during deliberations and away from your loved ones. And you said yes even though there was a chance that this case could have lasted past Christmas. You were willing to sacrifice much because you believed in our justice system. And then you went into deliberations, and each of you brought with you your common sense, individual perceptions, and life experiences, and you came to an agreement on the verdicts. You did your duty. I'm so proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves. Without civic-minded citizens like you, our system of justice could not function. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices. I wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and may the peace and beauty of the season be yours throughout the year. At this time, I'd like you to go into your waiting courtroom, and I'll be in just a moment. I'd like to thank you personally and to answer any questions that you have. Okay?
And so there you have it. Kim Potter found guilty on both first and second degree manslaughter in the death of Daunte Wright on what was a traffic stop back on April 11th. Daunte Wright, just 20 years old at the time, father and son. Potter rather stone-faced as she heard those verdicts come in. Many will remember how she sobbed as she took the witness stand in her own defense, saying that she simply had confused her gun with her taser, that she shouted, "Taser, taser, taser," multiple times, and then Daunte Wright responding that she shot me. I want to go out to Stephanie Ramos, who's out there and been in the field. And Stephanie, I think a number of people were thinking, based on the jury's question when they came back on Tuesday night, and they said, what do we do at this point if we're not able to reach consensus? And a number of people thought that this might be a hung jury, that they weren't going to be able to get a unanimous decision. Your response?
Absolutely, Lindsay, and that's what many people were thinking, that this jury couldn't come to a decision, that they were having trouble agreeing on a verdict because of those two questions that they asked the judge on Tuesday. Again, they began deliberating on Monday, so this is day 4. They've had several hours to come together with all of the evidence presented during the trial, which began on November 30th. They had access to a laptop that had the body camera footage, audio, and also the gun used by former officer Kim Potter and the taser. They were able to hold both to see the differences. But again, on Tuesday, the jury, made up of 6 men and 6 women, asking the judge, one, what could happen if they weren't able to come to an agreement, how long they should try, and then also asking the judge if the zip ties that were holding the gun to the evidence box could be removed. Clearly, what we can presume from that is that they wanted to hold that physical gun. I can tell you, Lindsay, being here right outside the courthouse, we can hear cheers from people that have been standing there for many, many days. Also, cars that are driving by are honking. So a lot of people outside the courthouse cheering. But going back to Tuesday, something that the judge told the jury when they asked those questions, the judge telling them that they should discuss the case with one another and deliberate with a view toward reaching agreement if you can do so without violating your individual judgment. But of course, after hours of deliberating, that group, that jury, coming to a decision and finding that former officer, Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter, guilty on both charges, first and second degree manslaughter, Lindsay.
And I think it's also important to relay to our viewers that Potter was in the same courtroom where Derek Chauvin was convicted earlier this year, of course, in the death of George Floyd, and that the shooting happened when it was April 11th. It was just 10 miles away. It was happening right in the midst of Derek Chauvin's trial. I want to bring in ABC's chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. And Dan, you know, clearly two varying responses in the courtroom during those closing arguments. The prosecution calling this a colossal screw-up, a blunder of epic proportions. The defense, though, saying a mistake is not a crime. Your response to that?
Well, look, you can believe a lot of things are true in this case, and I think that's what the jury did, meaning you can believe it was a mistake, you can feel sorry for Kim Potter, and you can believe she's guilty as a legal matter of the crimes that were charged. And I think that is likely what we saw here. You asked before the right question about the jurors earlier in the deliberation saying, well, what if we can't reach a consensus? That certainly indicated that there was some disagreement on this jury, but they came around to end up agreeing. There must have been one, two, who knows how many that were saying, maybe I can't convict. And in all likelihood, they were just feeling really bad for Kim Potter, because I think that all of the jurors are probably convinced it was a mistake. But that's not the legal question. And that's not the question that they were told to go back and answer. It wasn't, was this a mistake? It wasn't, do you feel bad for her? It was she negligent or was she reckless in her conduct in allowing this to happen? And I think that differential between that gun and that taser, both where they were located on her belt and the difference in the weight and the amount of training that she had had, all came into play here in leading this jury to these guilty verdicts. Now, we should say that the sentence now will be on the higher charge, on the first-degree manslaughter. She will not get sentenced have to serve time on both. It will be served concurrently. And the likely sentence under Minnesota law, while it's up to 15 years, is likely to be closer to the 7 to 8 year range on the first-degree manslaughter, but that'll be up to the judge.
Dan, thank you. And of course, this jury made up of 6 women, 6 men. There were 6 white men, 3 white women, 1 black woman, 2 Asian women. I want to bring in ABC News contributor Shauna Lloyd. Shauna, until now, Kim Potter has been out on this $100,000 bond. What happens next?
What's going to happen next is typically they're going to determine whether she's automatically going to be remanded or if she is actually going to stay out on bail until her sentencing. Right now, they are currently discussing that, and we'll be seeing the outcome of that very shortly.
And the sentencing, of course, we just heard from Dan that this will be served concurrently, not consecutively. How much time would you expect that she might get?
Well, typically, they're going to sentence her on the higher charge, which is the first-degree manslaughter. That carries a sentence up to 15 years. However, in this case, Kim Potter has no priors. She has mitigating factors. You know, they're going to argue that. So I expect to see that on the lower spectrum of that scale.
All right, Shauna Lloyd, our thanks to you and the whole team out in the field, Dan Abrams as well. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. Full details on World News Tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. Have a great night.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.